Welcome to Whispers of Rest, where each story is a gentle tide washing further worries away. While your screen stays dark, let my voice paint the quiet places between thoughts. Settle back, loosen your jaw, and let your next breath arrive a little softer than the last. Tonight, we journey to Harbour Helpers, where a gentle manatee guides lost seahorse pods back to their coral home. It's a slow underwater world of rhythmic sea currents, a world crafted with calm intentions and unhurried heartbeats. There are no loud surprises here, only steady footsteps, friendly whispers, and endings that fade like starlight. If your eyes grow heavy before the tale concludes, that's perfectly all right. The screen will stay black, the rain will keep falling, the story will keep watch until morning. Let's begin. Harbour Helpers. The tide has settled into its quiet night rhythm. A hush spreads across the moonlit harbour, where lanterns bob like slow blinking fireflies. And beneath the rippling silver skin of the water, an ocean of calm waits to welcome you. Down in that gentle blue, the world moves a little more slowly. Seagrass sways in long, unhurried breaths. And somewhere within the velvet hush, a kind-hearted manatee named Maribel glides through drifting columns of moonlight. A harbour guardian. Maribel is not in any hurry, manatees seldom are. Her round flippers paddle in wide, lazy circles, stirring faint eddies that curl behind her like sleepy commas. With each slow stroke, she sets a rhythm. Push, drift, push, drift. You might notice your own breathing, matching that steady underwater metronome. In and out, soft and softer still. Every evening, when the sky trades its last blush of sunset for night's indigo cloak, Maribel begins her gentle patrol. She follows a path she's traced so many times that the route feels like a lullaby. Past the whispering mangroves, under the stone arch that hums with the sea's low heartbeat, along the meadow of star-shaped sponges that glow a quiet teal. Tonight, though, something faint pricks her wide whiskered cheeks, a tremble in the water, like a single curious note drifting off key. It is the flicker of tiny tails, flicker of tiny worries. Lost little tales. Not far from the coral garden, a cluster of seahorses spins in mild confusion. There are 9 of them altogether, younglings, each scarcely longer than a pine needle, each cloaked in subtle shades of lilac and gold. They cling to a floating ribbon of seaweed that does not quite anchor them. The tide nudges the ribbon back and forth, back and forth. Their delicate fins flutter faster than the flap of a hummingbird's wing, yet the little group moves nowhere at all. From above, Maribel drifts closer, scarcely stirring the water. Her presence is broad and warm, like a living harbour wall. The seahorses feel the hush of her shadow and look up with bright marble eyes. One of the smallest, her tail coiled tight like a question mark, pipes a quiet whisper that ripples through the group. We can't find the coral canopies. The glimmer lilies went dark, and we drifted too far. Her words are bubbles that rise and burst in the thickening night. Maribel answers, not with hurry, but with a smile so gentle it seems woven from seagrass thread. She speaks in that deep water tempo, only calm hearts understand. Then I will guide you home. Hold tight to my current little sparks. Setting the pace. First, Maribel performs a small deliberate circle, a round dance that pulls the water into a tender ring. The 9 seahorses slip from their twisting strand of seaweed to settle in that ring, tails lightly brushing one another. Their fins slow, their tiny hearts slow. They mirror the arc of Maribel's glide, spinning as one. And you, dear listener, might notice that same circle widening around your own thoughts. The ring grows and grows, gathering every stray worry, every darting notion. Each time the circle completes, the water calms a little more. Maribel begins to travel, but she moves at half her usual pace. Slow enough that each young seahorse can keep up. Slow enough that every pulse of moonlight can settle onto their backs like a silk shawl. Through the kelp cathedral. Their first waypoint is the kelp cathedral, where towering blades rise like pillars of translucent jade. Maribel hums a low note that vibrates through the kelp, and the great leaves part obediently. The group enters a corridor of green twilight. Inside, everything is hush. Droplets slip from the kelp tips in slow motion, as though time itself has turned syrupy. Above, feathery fish drift like soft questions without answers. Maribel counts her little charges, quietly. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. You may join her count if you wish, letting each number dissolve on your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and again, even softer, until the numbers feel as light as foam bubbles, popping before they reach the surface of thought. At the far end of the cathedral, slim beams of sapphire moonlight beckon them onward. Star-spun sandbank. They glide next over the star-spun sandbank, a patch where bioluminescent plankton twinkle just beneath the sand's thin top layer. With every subtle tide pulse, a few specks glow bright, then fade, glow bright, then fade, like a cosmic lullaby buried under crystal grains. Maribel guides the seahorses into a gentle spiral descent. She's teaching them to navigate by patterns, not by speed, to see the way a quiet shimmer can point home more surely than any rush. As they spiral, the plankton respond, lighting a whirling galaxy beneath them. The seahorses breathe out tiny streams of bubbles, entranced. You might imagine your own thoughts drifting downward in that spiral, round and softer, round and softer still, settling like fine sand until every grain is at peace. Maribel completes the spiral with a subtle flick of her tail. The glowing sandbank lies behind them now, dimming to a muted haze. The singing stones. Ahead waits a cluster of coral-encrusted rocks known as the singing stones. Water slips through hidden hollows in those stones, creating a mellow, whistling tone. Not a song you hear exactly, but one you feel in the bones. When Maribel and her pod approach, the stones greet them with their softest register, a low ooh that shivers the water like a yawn across the seabed. Each seahorse's dorsal fin vibrates in gentle sympathy, They ride that vibration like children on a cradle's sway. Maribel adds her own hum, deeper than the stone song, offering a harmony that rounds the notes into spheres of sound. The combined music is warm and slow, rolling through the water in pulses spaced far enough apart that breaths slide naturally between them. As you listen, your own heartbeat might begin to echo the intervals. Lub-dub, pause, lub-dub, pause. A lullaby written by the sea itself. A moment of stillness. Mid-journey, Maribel anchors next to a driftwood log nestled among sleepy seagrass. Here, the current hushes almost completely. Tiny silver shrimp, no bigger than commas, hover in suspension. She signals the seahorses to rest. They wrap their tails around soft grass blades, letting their bodies sway without effort. Left and right, left and right. Body weight surrendered to the water's cradle. You too may choose this moment to loosen any lingering tightness. A slackening in the jaw, a sinking of the shoulders, a softening of the belly. Notice how the body, like the little seahorses, knows how to float when given permission. Time, in that pocket of stillness, feels doughy, stretching without breaking, expanding without hurry, until Maribel senses the exact unspoken minute when rest has cooled into readiness. She nudges the log, sending a single thrum through the grass. 9 sets of translucent fins flicker awake. The journey resumes. Lantern Jelly Lane. They approach Lantern Jelly Lane, a drifting avenue lit by slow-moving jellyfish whose bells glow amber, then peach, then a hush of lavender. Each jelly's tendrils dangle like tassels on ornate lanterns, swaying in an invisible breeze. Maribel charts a path between them, careful not to disturb even the faintest glow. The seahorses follow in single file, matching her speed. Now and then a jelly pulses, releasing a puff of dim light that swirls away like sleepy confetti. The lane is longer than it seems, as though the glowing jelly bells stretch the corridor in a dreamer's mind. Footsteps and minutes lose their shape here. What remains is pure drifting. You might feel your own sense of time loosening, seconds pooling into a calm lagoon. When the final lantern jelly bows aside, a yawning expanse of dark water opens ahead. Not empty, but spacious, like the blank page of night where new dreams will be written. Coral canopy at last. Far off, small pinpricks of pink and topaz bloom in the gloom. That is the coral canopy, the seahorses' woven branch village. As they draw closer, details sharpen. Coral spires shaped like soft antlers, archways draped in mossy lace, tiny coral balconies where elder seahorses wait, rocking gently in the tide. Seeing home, the 9 younglings quiver with gratitude that looks, in water, very much like starlight. They dart ahead, but not too fast. Maribel's calm has taught them the luxury of pace. At the entrance, a venerable matriarch, her snout etched with white scars of wisdom, greets the returning pod. She thanks Maribel with a bow so deep it mirrors a crescent moon. Words are too small for the kindness exchanged here. The farewell drift. Task complete, Maribel lingers for only a moment. She watches as the young seahorses coil their tails around coral twigs, safe and steady now. Their shining eyes flutter half-closed. The matriarch hums a bedtime chord that threads through the branches, a lull in musical form. Maribel turns slowly toward open water. The road back is quiet, and she is in no rush to reach it. She paddles forward, but each push of her flipper is half the strength of the one before and half again the next, until she glides on sheer momentum. No sound but the hush of her own slow heartbeat, no light but the silver residue of moonglow catching on her smooth hide. Joining the quiet. If you have remained awake this far, feel how the story itself has thinned. Like paint fading into clear water, like a note dwindling into silence. There is nothing left to do, nowhere left to swim. The harbour's pulse is steady and low, steady and low. Let your thoughts float beside Maribel. Imagine the cool, weightless cradle of the sea holding you just as it holds her. Arms of water, fingers of current, palms of tide. Hear the breathing spaces between each line, longer now, longer. As vast as Lantern Jelly Lane, as unhurried as the Kelp Cathedral. Breathe along with them, uncounted and easy. Let muscles become seagrass, let eyelids drift closed like coral gates at midnight. The final ripple. Somewhere far above, a gull calls once, a muted echo through layers of water and dream. The harbour sleeps. Maribel dreams of seagrass plains that never end. And you drift deeper, beyond story, beyond words, into the boundless moon-washed quiet. Good night, and gentle tides carry you home.